Today, we're exploring a thought-provoking and honestly kind of sensitive work by S.C. Sayles titled Marriage Before Law. So buckle in. This one's about as real-world relevant as research can get. Alright, so what's at the heart of this book? S.C. Sayles takes on a massive question, one that affects all sorts of people in every corner of the globe. How do religious concepts of marriage interact with, or sometimes even collide with, the legal systems that govern marriage? Yeah, it's not just a matter of who can get married, but really gets into the guts of stuff like divorce, ethics, pastoral responsibilities, church discipline, and honestly, how law and faith either support or challenge each other when it comes to people's closest relationships. Why does this matter for everyone listening? Well, whether you're part of a faith community, a member of the clergy, or just someone who's ever thought about how marriage gets defined and controlled, these debates shape our families, our societies, and even, our most private ethical dilemmas. Understanding where these rules come from and how they developed might just give you a whole new perspective the next time you hear about, say, a controversial divorce decision or a church discipline case. The author is crystal clear from the start. This isn't legal advice, pastoral counselling, or a one-size-fits-all manual for clergy or anyone making tough decisions about marriage. The book is for education, discussion, and, deep reflection. What's inside the book? The author weaves together theology, history, and ethics. No easy feat. Sayles goes back to sources like historical church figures, traditions, biblical interpretations, and legal developments. And here's the important bit, never presumes that what the church said in the 15th century or like what a modern government rules today is automatically correct or should be applied universally. There's a lot of emphasis on local context, discernment, and, common sense. Let's break that down a little. The book dives into how the church has handled big issues like divorce or failed marriages through history. Sometimes the church was stricter than the state, sometimes way more lenient. You get examples of church discipline, pastoral failures, and how churches try to walk that tense line between, mercy for individuals and upholding some kind of standard for everybody. Sayles also highlights that theological positions or historical figures aren't, automatically good or bad. They're just data points in an ongoing debate. And the research, well, it's fair to say this is more a work of complex, nuanced thought than empirical data gathering. Sayles brings together stories, debates, and ethical puzzles from across centuries, arguing that applying any big idea about marriage, whether inspired by faith, law, or both, requires accountability and especially wisdom. The real world is messy, and our decisions have real consequences. There's no shortcut. Maybe you're wondering, so what do I do with all this? The author would say, and I think this is key, that every reader, every faith leader, every policymaker has to use their own judgment. No book, including this one, tells you exactly what to do. It gives you themes, history, and ethical frameworks, but not a recipe. And there are warnings everywhere. Don't ignore laws, don't minimize wrongdoing, and, don't forget that protecting people is always priority number one. We're reminded again and again that everything here is for reflection. It's not about loyalty to a particular church or institution, and especially not about undermining the law. The responsibility for how any of these ideas get used, that rests firmly with you, the listener and reader. So as we wrap up today, what does marriage before law mean in your world? Maybe it's a reminder that every marriage, every faith tradition, and every law is part of a much bigger conversation. None of these are absolute or final. If nothing else, I hope this inspires you to ask better questions, listen to people's experiences, and reflect on how we can balance rules with compassion. And hey, remember, I'm just walking you through the argument. academic research, like this book, is always up for debate and discussion. It's a launch pad for your own thought, not just a finish line. Thanks for joining me